In today's video, you're going to get to see one extremely beautiful and unique 1972 Citroen SM. Hello everybody and welcome to Classic Car ChitChat. My name is Kevin. I am thrilled you're joining me today. Today I have the pleasure of introducing you to a gentleman. His name is Senan. Senan owns a stunning and very rare 1972 Citroen SM. It was actually built by his father, who's a bit of a genius for lack of better words, and himself over a number of years. This car is extraordinary. It has stainless steel headers, it's got a sport exhaust system. It has perhaps one of the finest examples of what a suspension system should be like. And believe it or not, it has a Maserati engine. So, without further ado, let's hop in, let's go for a drive, let's check out this beautiful 1972 Citroen SM. Senan, before you turn it off, rev the engine for me, sir. Wow. Can you honk the horn?
Which one? Car has two horns.
Have? Really?
Yeah.
Do both?
That's the, hey, I'm here horn.
Jesus Christ.
That's get out of my way.
I love it. Turn her off.
By the way, that's factory.
That was my next question. But first of all, tell me what you have here, Senan.
This is a 1972 Citroen SM.
It's gorgeous. How long have you had this car?
Well, this was actually my dad's car, and he had it for about 20 years. It was, one of those long-time projects that
Oh my gosh.
slowly came together, and then we finished it about 2 years ago.
My goodness. You know what? I grew up in England, and it just takes me back to seeing the Citroens driving around England, and it just brings back so many fond memories. However, I don't ever remember the Citroen being this powerful sounding with a set of 4 pipes coming out too.
Well, the sound, the engine itself, the Maserati engine is what gives it that powerful sound, but the exhaust, this is a non-original exhaust. It's a sport exhaust made by Nuvolari in the UK. All stainless steel headers. So this is a performance upgrade.
So you mentioned something, a Maserati engine.
Right.
Citroen had Maserati engines?
For this particular model, it was a very short-lived combination of French and Italian technologies.
Wow.
Well, yeah, surprisingly, there's actually quite a few in North America because that was one of their target audiences. It was a very expensive car.
Right.
So they imported probably the second most in North America, in the US in particular.
Walk me through this. So you got the fog lights, they would have been...
So those are period correct, but non-original.
Right.
They're Marshall, which are a French brand. You could order it with fog lights, and it actually had a place for the switch, and the wiring diagram has everything in place for it. But it wasn't a very popular option. And then the headlights are the US mandated DOT headlights.
Right, right.
So this car came from Texas originally. So it's a solid Texas body.
Yeah. No rust, no salt. We know
No,
what that
exactly,
feels like.
yeah.
Okay.
The original Euro headlights would have been 6 reflectors. So the inner ones would turn with the steering, and then there would be 2 outer ones. And they would all be covered in glass like the middle is.
Plastic.
Yeah.
But these do not rotate.
They do
with
not,
the car.
no.
Yeah, I think that's one of my memories of the Citroen, made it so unique and special. Very clever engineering as well.
Right.
And hence the Maserati emblem there too.
I put that there to bring awareness to the duality. So the left symbol is Citroen's symbol and the right one is Maserati's. And
Beautiful.
the space was just begging to be filled.
Yes.
Yeah, that's for the air conditioning. That has nothing
It
to
had
do with the
AC.
engine. Yes. So the suspension on this car is essentially the same as the DS model, the D model, ID, right?
Yep.
But the front arms are rotated 180 degrees in a different orientation, but the technology is the same, with the difference being the valving on the spheres, which do the shock portion of the suspension, are slightly different. They're more sporty for this car.
Got it. So slightly different ride, but still has the same
Still has that
ability
riding
to-
on air quality.
Yeah.
So this is the US version, so you got red all around. Then they had different markets, the Italian market, the Euro market in general, had different combinations of orange and red. Some of them had this being orange, very few. I think the Italian market had that.
Yeah.
And some of them had the orange turn signals. But the Americans were all red.
And with 4 pipes coming out of there, it just really pops. It just looks fabulous.
Does. Interesting fact though about these pipes, they sound great and they do make a difference in the performance, but the original pipes, there's a little indentation here and the pipes would come out to the side.
Oh, right.
And they'd be stainless steel and they look a little weird.
Yeah.
But there's a purpose for that. The aerodynamics on this car are such that if there is any faults in the seal on the trunk lid and you had the exhaust coming out like it is here, it would actually get sucked back into the car.
In there. Oh, wow.
So for safety, they actually put them out here so it wouldn't get swirled in to the car.
You know, that's clever. I mean, the French engineers knew what they were doing.
They knew exactly
for
what
sure.
they were doing.
Oh,
Nothing's by accident. This little hump here,
right.
that's an aerodynamic feature.
It is, okay. And there was never a spoiler? They never made a version that had the spoiler?
No. The one difference on the Euro market ones, they have a stainless steel piece of trim that comes across here.
Okay.
And then they had, of course, the long Euro lights, license plates.
Yeah.
And they didn't have these.
Got it.
So the light would come in from behind the stainless steel, but this is made for the American market.
That's beautiful. Now the color is...
Non-original.
What do you call it? What is this color? Because
Well,
that pops on this car.
So some people call it Mopar green,
Mopar green, okay.
lime
I
green,
can see
whatever,
that,
but
yeah.
it's not original.
Right.
And you know, the shape of the car itself is a love it, hate it for some people who see it.
Yeah.
And the color adds to that love it, hate it.
You got it. Yeah. No. For
I
me, it's love and love in both counts.
I personally like the contrast between the black, the chrome,
Yeah,
and the green.
for sure.
It seems to work well.
It is so cool. Can we take a look at this Maserati engine?
Sure.
Oh, for crying out loud.
So there's a lot to talk about here.
Oh, my God. 1972.
Two, yeah. So the first model, I think in Paris, they released it in 70. And the prototype for this was already on the drawing board in the 60s. They didn't have a good engine for it. They had the agricultural D-series 4-cylinder.
Right.
And they had this, you know, updated sporty body, and they were looking for an engine. And as it happens, Maserati was in financial trouble, and that's when they jumped on the chance to buy up the company to get an engine. And a lot of misinformation on the internet about this engine.
Okay.
It's typically described as a Maserati V8 with 2 cylinders lopped off. And that is completely,
That's not right?
That's
Okay.
completely false.
Okay.
So the mastermind behind this engine, his name is Alfieri. He designed this engine specifically for this car.
To fit in the
Constraints.
capacity.
Yeah.
Yes,
They did
okay.
have a prototype V8 version, but this one's the one that made it to the market.
But it's still
And as you can see, it's facing the firewall. So the output is here.
Is this end? Yeah.
Yeah. Now the transaxle's in the middle of the car here.
Got
the
it.
transmission's up front, and the engine's facing the firewall.
Uh-huh.
And because of that, they had to make an accessory shaft to run all the accessories.
You know what? In many ways, it does allow you easier access to some of these accessories.
Some of the things
right?
it does, yes. Yeah.
Now, green
That-
cylinders.
Yes, that's the suspension. This is your shock and your spring all in one, just this green part. The top part is compressed nitrogen gas. There's a membrane that
Okay.
separates it from the oil below it. And then the oil gets into the base of this through a very fine orifice.
Okay.
The diameter of that orifice determines the valving of the shock. So these are all you need to change to make it ride like a DS. You put DS spheres on it. It's nice and wishy-washy,
Right,
right?
right.
You put the sportier ones on here for the SM, and you got the sport feel.
Different. Okay.
Yeah, and slight difference between front and back as well. So these are your one on each corner.
Right.
You've got the accumulator, which gives you reserve hydraulic pressure, and then there's one under the reservoir for the brakes.
Got it. And similar iteration in the rear of the
Yeah,
car
exactly.
as well?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
right on the strut in the back, tucked in the back.
Wonderful.
So by varying the amount of oil in the lower half, you vary the height of the suspension. You've got a regulator here which keeps it all in the proper range for pressure, and that's your hydraulic pump that produces
That
the
is
high pressure.
very clever when you think about it,
It
to
is.
engineer it in this fashion.
Yeah. So if I
Very
wanted
sharp.
to change the springs, quote, springs and
Yes.
shocks on this car, it would
Right.
take me 15 minutes
To do the whole
to
thing.
do the whole car with no special tools. So everything's run off a central reservoir, central pressure. So you've got the suspension, the brakes, and the steering are all in the same high pressure oil system. It's called LHM. The steering itself is special on this car. It's unique to this. The DS doesn't have this.
Right.
It's self-centering and variable power assist based on speed.
Very cool.
So
Yes,
on
yes,
the front of
yes,
the
yes,
transmission, there is a little gizmo that knows how fast you're going.
Right.
And it varies the amount of pressure going to the
So it kind
the
of
rack.
governs that all the
Yeah.
time.
So as you're parking in a parking lot, you can turn it with one finger. When you're on the highway, it's super stiff, like a go-kart.
Again, wonderful engineering.
It
right?
is, yeah.
So now you're saying that vent actually connects over there to the AC.
That's the feed system for the central
Right.
air conditioning system.
So I have a question then.
Yeah.
In the DS version, where the headlights actually moved with the steering wheel,
Right.
that was a mechanical connection between the two?
Mechanical and, well, I can't speak for the DS because I'm not
Right.
familiar with it, but on the SM, it was actually coolant fluid. It was actually
Oh.
radiator fluid in a tube, and that fluid would push on some pods that would move the lights.
Okay.
Actually, this is a US model, but the fender still has the mount for that pod.
Got it.
There would be a little rod and the light would be on a swivel.
Yeah.
And then that pod would be connected with those tubes, and then that would be connected to the steering rod, and it would know what the angle is.
way?
Yeah.
How smart.
And it wouldn't be a 1-to-1 ratio.
Okay.
So if you turn the steering a little, this thing would actually turn many more degrees than you would actually turn the steering.
Right.
Because it would have to be ahead of your turn when you're driving.
Which makes sense, because
Right.
it's where your eyesight's going in
Exactly,
a sense,
yeah.
right?
So they figured all that out, and it's a beautiful system. But
It is masterful engineering. So the rims on this are more or less the original rims?
they
in
are. So
style?
that they're steel rims, and they've got the stainless hubcaps.
Very cool. And again, 15-inch as well.
The original rims, there were some sport rims that were offered. They were a world first as well. They were made by Michelin, and they were a resin compound.
No way.
So imagine back in the early 70s selling a rim that weighs next to nothing,
Yeah.
made out of resin. That's
Wow,
pretty remarkable.
it is. And that's the jack point I see.
There is no jack on this car. You don't jack it up. So what you do is you run the engine, you put your suspension in the highest position, and then the trunk, there's a little fixed pod that you put under the car. If you put it in the middle, it'll teeter and do the backs. If you put it on the front, you can do the front. So the idea is you lift the car up, you put the jack, quote unquote
Where
jack,
you want,
the stand,
yeah, the stand.
where you want it, lock it in place, and then you take the lever and you put it into the lowest position. And then what happens is the whole car sits, but it can't sit on the part that's been held.
Yes.
So then it teeters.
How clever is that?
Yeah.
Wow.
And again, that's a carryover from the DS model.
Yes. How much space in the trunk there, Sanit?
Well, there's normally quite a bit, but I've got tools and stuff.
Of course.
I just came back from a 1,000-kilometer car show trip.
Where did you go?
I went all the way up north to just south of North Bay,
Wow.
South River.
Good for you.
So I had to keep some spares and some tools, and
And how was the drive, by the way? No
Oh.
issue. She handled like a charm.
it is what this car is made for.
Oh, wow.
Long distance GT cruising.
Wonderful. And turning lots of heads along the way too.
It did.
But that's not a bad size, and it's got a full size.
Full-size spare, yeah. So this car's had a number of upgrades.
You added that.
I added that
Yeah.
just for convenience.
Of
But
course.
one thing that you didn't see under the hood, because I've tried my best to hide it, is I've converted this car to fuel injection.
Okay.
So I imitated. This is a knockoff badge. I 3D printed this,
Yes,
and
I
it's
like it.
original look.
Electronique.
Yeah.
Again, very
This
French.
is how the injected versions did have it.
Yes.
And then up front, the car came with fuel injection, a D-Jet Bosch system.
Right.
And this one didn't. This was a triple Weber.
Okay.
Try as I could not get those Webers working properly.
Right.
Rebuild after rebuild, and tried all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Could not get them to work tamely in the lower RPM range. They were monsters in the upper range.
Yes.
Just beautiful. But
in the
they
low?
were very difficult to drive in the city.
Yes. Okay.
So I converted this to fuel injection using Borla throttle bodies.
Okay.
Triple Borlas. And I've tried to hide it so that when you open the hood, it still looks like a carbureted engine.
Right.
Yeah.
So where is everything then? Is it all kind of tucked away
So the
neatly?
Borla induction throttle
were
bodies
there,
are
yeah.
still where the Webers were.
Right.
Aside from the newer wiring, some updated A&N high pressure fuel fittings, and the regulator there, it's hard to see that there's anything new in there.
Okay.
You've got things like the air pressure sensor, there's oxygen sensors on the exhaust.
Beautifully done.
The only additional thing is an additional fuse box specifically for the fuel injection.
Got it. Yeah.
But that just makes it a lot more drivable.
Definitely.
It doesn't stink as much when you're idling it. All the good points of fuel
Yes,
injection.
of course. Yes.
But I did lose a little bit of top end
because of that.
because of that.
All
That's
right.
okay.
Fair enough.
There's
yeah.
plenty
There's
there.
to go around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we take a look inside as well?
Sure.
The style of seats
This was
that
a style.
they came?
Yeah. In North America, they had two primary options: the brown leather and the black leather. In Europe, they had other velour and material options that didn't make it here.
And oval gauges as well?
Yes.
My, oh my. How does the gearing work here? Let me see.
It's a 5-speed.
So the reverse is far right, okay.
Far right.
And the radio position was always there, isn't it?
Yeah, that's original. And then speaking of the fuel injection, I hid the diagnostic port and
Oh,
LEDs.
you rascal. Very
Yeah.
clever. Hey, I
So-
like how that pops open too.
Yeah.
Very
Yes.
nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
And of course, the Citroen button as a brake.
Wow.
So
I'd actually never seen that.
You haven't?
No, I
Okay.
just assumed it would have a regular brake pedal.
It does not. So the clutch is standard and works the same way as a normal hydraulic would, but
Right.
the brake is, it uses the high pressure LHM system to do your brakes. That little button, believe it or not, has less than a centimeter of travel.
That's it.
That's it. And you'd think, well, that's going to
Well,
be
you're
pretty
going to jam
tricky
on the
drive.
brakes all the time.
The
no?
first 1 or 2 times maybe, but you get used to it remarkably quickly. It's such a nice system.
Wow.
And it stops this car really well.
Oh my gosh. I love the steering wheel too. That takes me back.
Single
a few
spoke,
years.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just lovely.
And that steering actually self-centers too, eh? So when the car is running, if you turn it full turn and just let go,
It'll
it'll
come
put it
back.
right back there.
Wow. Beautiful. Now, I'm going to have to ask you then. So the suspension, you can
Yeah.
actually make it go.
Oh, that's right here. There's a little lever here. So this is the standard drive position. And you can vary full up, full down. She's going down.
Oh my gosh.
The back takes longer to go down. And then the other extreme,
My lord. 1972 engineering. Fabulous.
and then normal. And then the steering, if you want to catch it, I'll
Yeah.
show you since it's already running. Okay, let go.
My gosh. Senan, that is very, very. Tell me about these 3 wheels. Go for
So
it.
you could search on YouTube and watch people demo. By the way,
There
it's
she
sense
goes.
that I got out of the car.
Okay.
So now there's that many pounds not needed, so it's lowering the suspension.
Is it kind of insulting you say, Senan, you need to
Did you
lose
see
a
how much it
couple?
went down?
Sorry, I digress.
So if you happen to have a blowout and it's on your rear, you can actually drive without that wheel. So it'll compensate.
My gosh.
So you can change it like you would any other car, but
Right.
you don't have to. What you do is you jack it all up. You go through the procedure like you're going
Right,
to change
just
the
like
tire.
you would normally.
You take off the tire, stick it in your trunk, and you leave this lever that's in the trunk up. And then it puts it in its highest position to give it some clearance. And it'll auto compensate and keep the car level. And you can drive away because it's front wheel drive.
Wow.
And believe it or not, that's not something that somebody figured out and then made it popular on YouTube. That's actually in the owner's manual.
That's a design element.
It's designed to
actually
do that.
supposed to do that.
Yeah.
Just
Well, they did a
wonderful.
lot of neat things, like, for instance, the wipers are variable speed based on how wet the window is.
Oh,
And it does that without a computer in the early 70s.
so is it based on friction, like on a
Exactly.
sense?
So
Yeah?
electrically, it
Electrically.
knows that the motor has a higher current draw when there's more resistance on the wiper.
Right.
And then it knows that it's drier.
It's
So it
drier,
goes
yeah.
slower.
Wow,
And it
wow, wow.
automatically senses that and adjusts.
You know what? There is just so much about this car. As you talk about it, I'm learning lots. I'm sure the viewers are kind of astounded too to say, wow, this is quite a bit of engineering elegance even back,
is,
back
very
in the
elegant,
day, and it's
yeah.
beautifully done.
So as my dad and I were restoring this, it was a common theme amongst us. How the heck did they design this?
Yeah.
How did they get permission to spend this much money? Because it's really designed like a spaceship. If you tore everything out of it and saw how it was made,
Yeah.
You'd be astounded.
It's like years ahead of their time almost. So
Yeah.
very,
You want to take the
very-
fender off? You got one bolt here, one bolt here. You tilt it this way and you just pull it out. It's on two big pins here.
Again, how smart is that?
So you figure, how are you going to work on this car?
Yeah, right.
Well, with a little bit of
easy.
effort, you disconnect the looms so they're not
Yeah.
connected. You just take off both fenders, take off the hood, and you've got full access to everything.
Again, ingenuity for you.
Now, there was a time that you might say, well, that's a lot of extra effort to do the maintenance. But look at any modern car. If you want to do something, you got to take everything,
You got to take everything
the
out.
firewall away
Yeah,
just to
yeah.
get access.
Absolutely.
So it's not that unusual now. Yeah.
No, beautiful. Shannon, we've talked a lot. Let's go for a little drive. It
Sure.
got me all excited.
Okay. It's not locked. It's one of those you have to, everything's different, right? So you have to pull up.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And it's got very strong detents, so don't be afraid to close it.
Give it a bit of welly, as they
Yeah.
would say in England. All right. These seats too, again, look at the adjustment levers here. So
Yeah.
forward, backwards, tilt as well?
Yeah, so you've got front, back, and you've got tilt. You don't have the ability to tilt this by itself, but the whole thing has a tilt.
Yes. But even the headrest is different.
Yeah. They're very
It's designed to actually
Yeah.
rest your head on,
Yeah.
as opposed to a decorative option almost.
Yeah.
Oh
And there are a
my.
couple of differences. The US model has these type of hanging seat belts.
Yeah.
There is an Italian model that had them coming out of the back trim section. Slight differences there. Slight differences in the
So
options.
run me through, what are these?
So the one is your. Let me close the door.
That's mine too. Okay, hang on. Oops. Oh yeah.
Right, so this is just your interior light.
Okay.
And then what I did is from a parts car, I took that same light, put it here, and that's my fog light.
Ah,
Okay. That's the rear defog.
got it.
Yeah. And that's just a spare spot for another switch that I use for an indicator for my fog light.
The G2?
That's an American thing. The Euro one has a nice bronze finish throughout, and that's not interfering. That G2 goes here on the European cars.
Okay.
That's just your hazard. They had to add that. And the fastened seatbelts. That was a requirement.
This gauge here has about signs of the zodiac all over it.
So if I let the car run, let's see, I'll do this. Here we go. That red light, if you see that while you're driving, you got to pull over immediately because it's a catch-all, but it's typically the hydraulic system that it's warning you about. And
so it's not like modern day check engine lights where you can still drive it
yeah,
another 1,000 kilometers.
no, you don't ignore that one because your brakes and your steering. See if you feel us going up.
Oh yes.
Okay, so now we're at height.
Oh, I could do that all day long.
Yeah, oh.
And I swear you don't have to move. It's just beautiful.
Okay, hang
Oh wow.
There's no ratchet.
At all. How's
No.
it doing it?
Right there. It's a smooth rod with a little fitting on it, and it uses friction. And the button does nothing but change the angle to get rid of the friction.
No way.
So it's got
So,
infinite.
so this looks like a ratchet back there is really just decorative.
That's just decorative.
How about that?
No clicking. Infinitely variable.
Again.
Yeah.
Like, so clever.
Yeah,
And it actually had power windows.
it did.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'll turn this down so we can hear ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love the setup of the gearbox too.
It's a pleasure to drive, and it's a Citroen gearbox.
Nice.
They didn't contract that out. The American, the automatic transmission is a Borg Warner.
Okay. You do get a lot of attention, don't you? Oh,
Oh,
my
you-
gosh.
You do.
Maserati, here we come. Oh, Senna. Who needs a radio in a car like this?
Feel the suspension.
Oh, it's beautiful.
You can hear the road, but you don't feel much of it.
Oh my gosh, it's lovely.
You've got a gimbal on your camera, but really,
You know, I don't need it.
In
I
this-
can handhold it.
in the 70s, there were actually film crews that took modified SMs and mounted cameras in the back because it was so stable.
Senna, look at the ride on this thing.
Oh yeah, 1972.
That was your third gear.
That was third, yeah.
Wow. What's the history of this car? Like how did you and your dad manage to even find this here in North America?
Well, it started, I work in Toronto, and we live in Hamilton. And my dad called me up at work one day and he said, "Hey, I found this car in the Auto Trader and it's in Toronto. Do you want to go have a look?"
Okay.
I said, "Okay." You know, he said that as if, you know, it's in Toronto and it's just around the corner.
Yeah, and it's on your way home from work perhaps or whatever.
As it turns out, it was an hour out of my way. But nevertheless, I went to have a look at my lunch, and it was a pretty rough-looking SM sitting in a driveway of a rented house that needed to be sold. And came back, reported it to him. He got interested from my findings, and one thing led to another. We ended up buying that car.
Wow. That was the first SM. Okay.
That was
yes,
that was
alright.
supposed to be the good one.
You're right.
And then that followed with a parts car, and then another 2 parts cars. So now we're up to 4. Yeah. And that was supposed to be it. Until one day he calls me up again and says, "Hey, Senan, there's this SM on eBay that's
So hang on a second. Your dad calls you, "Hey, son, how are you doing today?"
Yeah,
But
yeah.
no, it's like, I just found a car.
yeah, it's like, check this out." And he sent me a link to an eBay auction of this car in Atlanta, Georgia,
Okay.
but it was a Texas car. And they were selling just the rust-free rolling chassis, no engine, no interior, no glass,
Right.
nothing but a rust-free rolling chassis. And of course, with 4 parts cars and the prospect of fixing up a rusty
Yes,
body,
having something solid to start with. Oh my
anybody
God.
who's done any restoration knows that that's what you got
the
to do.
only thing that matters.
You
yes.
got to get a good body to
Yeah.
start with. So he said, "Well, what the heck? I got nothing to lose. I'm going to bid on it." And as it happens, he got the winning bid.
Right,
So we took
okay.
everything that we had in the other parts cars and put the best we could into this one.
My gosh. What an absolutely wonderful story, and it's what a great way to find a car.
Oh yeah.
It's awesome.
But I still have my very first car,
You do?
which was a 71 Opel GT.
Oh my gosh.
And I would have brought it today, but it's not quite done. It's not quite ready.
well, we're gonna have to do a video of that one.
But I'll
too.
give you a call when it's ready. yeah.
Please do.
And I've already promised that to my son, my middle son.
Right.
His name is Daniel.
Okay.
He has taken a liking to it and has asked me for it. So
Okay, and now we have proof on video that
Yeah.
the Opel is going to Daniel.
Hey, I can't drive them all, and
This is true. We're caretakers at the end of the day, right? We
I'm
have
just
to-
glad he's got an interest in it
Yeah.
because of the use. So what I'm doing right now, just cruising along at 2,000 RPMs, 60 kilometers an hour in 4th gear.
Right.
I could not do that with the Webers.
Yes.
They didn't like that.
I didn't like it. It's just
Yeah.
not. Even though the road is slightly on a camber, the car is still lovely and stable. Like
Oh, yeah.
it's just self-compensating all the time. It feels.
It is. It's constantly updating. And you know how the modern suspensions have a computer that
Yes,
samples
that
the
does it
road
as a chip.
like thousands of times a second.
Yep.
Well, this does one better. It's an analog system. It's all physics, and it's always
Oh
adjusting.
my God! Yes. Wonderful. Oh my God, Simon. This is just an absolutely beautiful machine. And again, no ratchet in action.
No.
What the heck? I'm flawed. Like this is not flawed. Odd. What am I saying? Like I'm lost for words. This is just Wonderful. Hold on.
Since he's already in the shot, I'll introduce my father.
Yes, let's do that. A little
Andrew?
bit closer, sir, or you stand together
Oh.
so the mic picks you both up. So this is your dad.
Yes.
He is,
He's the one who started this all.
wow. You started a good thing.
I hope so.
You definitely have. And you know, Sanan's describing how this car came into existence with really a good solid frame and then parts from 4 other cars to build this thing is beautiful. And it's a testament to you, sir, for creating this, because we need more cars like this just to remember how advanced this car was back in 1972.
Thank you. That's true.
It's beautiful. Thank you. I want to thank both of you. Let me move back a bit. I want to get the car in as well. So Sanan,
Yes.
Andrew, I want to thank you both. This is just a beautiful machine. It's so rare, so unique, and definitely you should go to more shows because you got to show this car. It's lovely. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.